it was one of the best ones. Another example of that, here's an article I was just looking at, is talking about why after the fall of the Iraqi government, all of the Christians wanted to go to Iraq because, or rather, all the Iraqi Christians wanted to go to Syria because of all the places they could go. Syria was the most tolerant and accepting and safe place for them to be. Which also goes to show how Jesus hates is totally ignorant, because if he cares about the state of Christians in the Middle East, he would actually support people like Assad. So, and finally, what did he say? I don't know. Everything that Jesus hates said was like just pulled out of his butt. You have no idea what the issues are here. And again, if you cared about Christians, you would care about countries that are Islamic that are actually friendly to Christians. You should be a supporter of Assad, you retard. Next, Mike.
Dr. Hatham and Yield Sign, I disagree with your premise. First of all, how can Israel all of a sudden take on the name of ISIS, the Islamic State initials? How is that going to be? You can't. That's just a diversion of what's happening. Aren't you guys using trucks now by order of the Prophet? Didn't ISIS send out the word to use trucks now wherever you can to mow down as many infidels as possible? Yeah, Mama. Good evening. Isn't that what's really happening? I mean, if you're saying, well, Israel did it, and now you talk about radical Christians, there's no such thing. I think you guys are diverting the what is happening in the world right now with real-time events and trying to smear it to make it look like, oh yeah, all Christians are now radical. Isn't it the fact that when you guys are when you guys have the jihads in the of your Islamic State, that you have the jihads, and by order of these things are being done in the name of the Prophet as of today, and you're saying, oh no, that's Israel now. Or that's not, you're always trying to change the subject. It's Israel, it's the Christians, it's Israel, it's the Christians. And yet all these things are happening. So when they ordered that, to use the trucks as the weapon to further Muhammad's mission, the jihad, you guys are giving the okay to kill. You get the green light to kill whoever, as many as possible. And so what I asked you earlier, Dr. Hatham, is when you guys borrowed the words "thou shalt not kill" from Exodus when you made the Quran, was that actually real scripture in your Quran, or is it just, because I had never seen where "thou shalt not kill" is in your Quran, but I see that kill the infidels wherever they may be found. That's part of it. But my question to you is that why now are you guys all of a sudden using trucks to do work and to fulfill the jihad in the Islamic cause? Okay, Mike Free.
Proverbs, Paul's, all those who hate me love death. Yeah. All those who love Jesus find life. That's what Jesus taught, because he was all about fairness. It was all about what it means to, regardless, I think you're told not to kill. Okay, so I really don't care what King David did, right, at this in this context. It's about you. All those who hate me love death. They're like so he asked you where. So he asked you where in the Quran is it expressing God's will that that you live and not die, right? Genesis tells Adam, don't do that, because when you do this, all those who hate God, whatever religion you might think of, the Roman Catholic Church, they worship dead man's bones. I kid you not. The building is built on top of skeletons and underneath. So, so all who hate God either worship or just love this idea of killing. And so you get wars, an expression of an inward imbalance is what you see. Jesus says, turn the other cheek. And people, well, is he weak? No, he's much stronger because you don't understand. It takes two. Two of the same. Opposites attract. Two of this are, well, the same mindset. And so he's saying, don't have the mindset. Well, I'm paraphrasing, you know, theology-wise. So I don't have that mindset. Turn the other cheek. Learn that all those who hate God love death. I'll let go of the mic.
Yeah, first of all, I haven't understood anything from you. I'm sorry. Sorry. You were off topic. Yeah, regarding Mr. Servitus, you've just brought up your alleged empirical evidence that Syria was immoderate. Why? Because it was legalized to license liquor stores. First of all, you're a liar, Mr. Servitus, because as long as I know, it is not only prohibited in Saudi Arabia, but in Egypt, Sudan, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco, and Mauritania. All these mentioned countries, liquor stores are banned. You know, licensing liquor stores have to do with moderation. I was telling you about a historic genocidal massacre committed by Hafiz al-Assad against his own people in Hama. And you know, he murdered over 40,000 people in Hama. You got what I'm saying? Regarding Israel, yeah, ISIS is Israel. ISIS was founded first by Israel. What is the evidence? Did you know, have you heard of something called Golan Heights? Idiots. What is Golan Heights? It is originally a Syrian place that was occupied in 1967 by Israel, and it has been being occupied by Israel, the terrorist state in the Middle East, the cancer that must be excised in the Middle East and all over the world, those criminals. Okay, and so Israel is just adjacent to Syria, the household of ISIS, and Israel is the only country that has been attacked yet by ISIS. From among all the Middle Eastern and the non-Middle Eastern countries, like USA, for example. Of course, this idiot, this massive murderer, international criminal, Beni Foria, is gonna say, oh, because Israel is well defended. No. So isn't USA well defended? Idiot. Isn't Germany well defended? Idiot. Isn't France well defended? Idiot. Isn't Turkey, the second largest military in the NATO, well defended? Turkey has been hit by ISIS all over just the past 3 months, over 5 or 6 times. Okay, so Israel is the only country that has never even been threatened by ISIS, and it has been proven even that Israel treated many ISIS mercenaries in its hospitals. You got what I'm saying? Also to the idiot, the Christian liar who was saying, you dirty work, Muhammad, you claim that you borrowed this verse from the book of Exodus. Listen, idiot. Listen. You forgot about the genocidal massacres you Christian crusaders had committed against the indigenous North American people. You have slaughtered over 200 million of North American indigenous people. You have slaughtered over 50 million South American indigenous people. You have enslaved over 170 African people, slaughtering over 77% of them. You have slaughtered over 2 million innocent Muslim Iraqis due to the American invasion of Iraq, according to the UN statistics. You had slaughtered over 500,000 5 years old and younger innocent Muslim Iraqi kids in Iraq in 1996 due to the embargo you enforced on Iraq. So which kind of terrorism are you talking about? Huh? You're a bloody, massive, murderous, blood-sucking vampire. So shut up. Your history is full of massacres. Your history is full of genocide and massacres. Have you forgot about the Spanish Inquisitions that used to burn people alive? Not only Muslims or Jews, but also the non-Catholic Christians? Huh? Have you forgotten the most recent crusade committed by George W. Bush? He himself said in the video that this crusade is gonna take a long time, and it was God, my God, who ordered me to go to Iraq, and that then Vice President Jackie Cheney had accompanied his own letters to him in.
Come on, man. We know you hate Israel. We know all you Arabs, camel humpers over there hate Israel. We know that. We get that. That's not a problem. Okay? But what you said about, I agree with you about what you said about, Syria. Absolutely. Because you're all the same out there. You're all the same. So I'm going to quote you from your own website here, Servetus. I'm going to quote you. By the way, let me also state that your story here is almost 20 years old. I need to state that. You do realize that. The quote that I'm going to give you here is 20 years old, practically. 19 years old. A year away from being 20 years old. Right? According to a 2002 report by International Christian Concern, a group that monitors persecution of Christians globally, no government acts of religious persecution have been witnessed recently. And there is no evidence that prisoners are being held for their Christian beliefs at this time. And this is coming from an organization, I have no idea, I haven't looked up their credentials, none of that. But you're looking at reports coming from the Middle East. Eyewitnesses that are going to what? Come to the side of a Christian to get persecuted as well? So how do you rely on those reports? Servetus is my question. How in the world do you actually go into anywhere like Syria, Lebanon, any of those countries and get actual facts about Christian persecution or religious persecution? How do you actually get facts when nobody's going to out anybody of fear of persecution themselves? How does that actually take place? You're a fucking retard, dude. Really. So you want to sit here and defend people like what? Let me see. Can I think of a stable regime? Yeah, I can think of a stable one. Saddam Hussein had a stable regime, except when he extended through his own boundaries and went into neighboring countries like Kuwait and wanted to take over their oil reserves, right? Or wants to actually create World War III, hopefully with the help of people like Hatham and other people here that hate Israel, and start lodging bombs over there towards Israel, right? Not knowing whether or not they have, atomic weapons on them or chemical weapons on them or anything like that. They didn't know any of that. And yet Saddam Hussein, that peace-loving guy who's only concerned about the stabilization of his own country, except for the Kurds, of course, right? The Kurds in the northern portions. Yeah, we can gas those people, right? Yeah, dude, there has never been any stabilization in the Middle East. That's what you don't fucking understand.
Actually, talk to the Palestinians before the Russians, before the Germans, before the Eastern Europeans decided that they were Israeli, before they decided that they're going to go steal some fucking land. Ask the Palestinians if there was stability in the Middle East. The reason there is no stability in the Middle East today, okay, back in the past, yeah, I mean there was war all over the fucking place. But the reason that today there is no stability is because of Israel pushing America and Great Britain, or the UK, whatever the fuck you want to call them, the British, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, the fucking psychopaths of the Middle East. Qatar and Saudi Arabia, these are the psychopaths and ISIS. ISIS and ISIS, which was created, of course, by the CIA and probably the Mossad and probably the what is it in whatever the secret intelligence agency is in fucking Britain. Okay, we are the aggressors. I don't even want to say we because I'm not part of this fucking, like, I didn't take over my country. I didn't throw the Constitution into the wind. I'm not a fucking murderous piece of shit, so it's not me. But these people that took over our government, they are doing it. So we know Jesus hates is completely an Israeli shill. We know that this entire Paltalk organization is an Israeli company. And if you don't, fucking Mossad is here trying to steer your thoughts in direction A instead of direction B. Get your head out of your ass. Okay? So here's the truth in the world. You have Israel, America, Great Britain. You know, I don't know. I don't know how they do it, you know? I don't know how they did it. Somehow the Israelis managed to convince someone, Lyndon B. Johnson. There you go. He was the guy. He was married to some Israeli, you know. Or no, that was his not his wife, not his actual wife, but his mistress was Israeli. So they got their ties in there. I don't know. You know, it's like the Mossad slogan, through deception we make war. Like that's all they do. Make war. That's it. Just like Ibrahim Zapruder recorded JFK getting greased. You had those dancing Israelis on 9/11 recording the fucking Twin Towers. They were set up before the towers came down. And they even went back to Israel because our neocons are dual Israeli citizens. I mean, we let dual Israeli citizens in our government? What the fuck? Okay, so we have these people, these fucking evil, non-Jewish, non-Semites that are just fucking governments up, fucking countries up. Because I don't know. So what I've heard, I'm about, it's not religion fails, it's evil people fails. Religion is the only thing that gives you a moral compass. Imagine if you're a scientist and you don't give a shit about if there's a God. You don't care about religion. You don't care about the afterlife. You're just like, hey, whatever's in front of me is real. And if I can't see it, it doesn't exist. You have no morality. You have no moral compass. Religion is one of the most important things. Not necessarily institutionalized religion, but at least some kind of belief in a God, which, by the way, is 98 or 99% of the fucking planet Earth forever has always believed in some kind of God. It's not because we're all delusional. Now, I think you'd rather look at the 2%. The 2%, by the way, who are killing everybody else. I think they're the ones who are fucked up. They don't believe in God, and they are overthrowing governments and murdering people, and they don't give a fuck about humanity. Yeah, I think atheism is the problem. And maybe this cult-like Judaism. We're a fucking cult. If you're not part of our cult, fuck you. That's kind of how these Jewish Israelis operate. It's pretty fucked up. Go to YouTube and type in checkpoint. You could do checkpoint and then Israel and watch that documentary. Just watch how they treat those Palestinians. They treat them like fucking animals. All right, so go ahead.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that if it wasn't Israel, this last event, it was the ISIS, the Islamic State. So, but I was just reading that. I just said that update on the 1815 EST time was that the Islamic State has claimed responsibility for the Berlin attack, according to an analysis of several online jihadist networks by the anti population. So basically,